Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. I told you guys Damon is not ish. You guys remember when I told you guys that his slip is showing? This reunion showed me exactly that I was right. I feel like all Damon did on this reunion was lie and gaslight over and over again. I wish that Bravo also showed the clip where Dr. Greg did say to him the reason why he did not take on his patient. Because I feel like they were just gaslighting us like we did not see the clips. They're just out here lying, and lying. He's finally been exposed for exactly who he is. For the longest time, I've always wondered, how can someone like Heavenly be with someone like Dr. Damon? But now I finally see it. It's because they're two sides of the same coin. The only difference is one person is a little bit more underhanded with things and knows how to gaslight and project an image that is not true. Now, this is my opinion. That is what I thought as I was watching the reunion. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the things that happened during the reunion. I will just talk about the things that really caught my attention and I want to address. So, the really big thing that I would say that I want to talk about is, one, I felt like Quad was overdoing things at this reunion. I felt like even moments where Sweet Tea was putting forward a compliment or at least having a civil conversation, Quad find a way to throw it, turn it into shade. It's like when you're trying to move forward and have some empowered or empowerment sort of moment, and then you take that to use that as an opportunity to come for Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg, I thought was weird. Now, let's be clear. I feel like Dr. G is overly emotional. You guys know in previous episodes, I've talked about his behavior. We've addressed it. We've addressed how I feel like it's disrespectful for him to speak to Sweet Tea like that. We've talked about all of that. I'm talking about this episode of the reunion. I felt like there was a moment where they could have both ended it on a positive note. They were practically agreeing on something together. That could have been a good come together moment, but Quad had to ruin it with the dramatics and then turn it into bashing Greg. Let's be clear. If Sweet Tea was out here bashing King like that, Quad will not appreciate it, even if King was out of order. Let's be clear. Now, I know Dr. G doesn't make things cool because he does some questionable, disgusting things. However, I really do feel that in the whole beef between Quad and Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg, Quad was the instigator. I don't think my perspective is going to change on that. And I think watching Quad at this reunion left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth because I'm just like, okay, you guys have gone back and forth. You've talked about different things. Now is not the time to start saying certain things. And for Quad to go as low as talking about Sweet Tea's fertility, I think is a problem, considering Quad is also trying to get pregnant. Now, even if she wasn't trying to get pregnant, it's still a problem. To be out here talking about another woman's fertility, that's some nasty work. And I know a lot of people like Quad, but I do think you guys need to call her out when she is wrong. That is nasty work. What bothers me even more is the fact that Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone, despite being OBGYNs, could just sit there and say absolutely nothing. Not even like, okay, guys, there needs to be a boundary that we don't cross. We are on a show called Married to Medicine. There is no way I would go to Jackie and Simone if I was just out here watching the show, because I would be thinking these people are probably making jokes and laughing at women's fertility privately. If they can't even call out a colleague, a friend for making jokes and saying disgusting things about someone's fertility, that would be a problem for me. Now, if you guys are still listening, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also let me know what you guys think as we go along through this reunion. Did you guys see that when Sweet Tea said that Quad has 2 DUIs, Quad did not deny it? I hope you guys caught on to that. Because when she said she's a drunk, she, of course, is trying to claim that she ain't a drunk. Now, I don't know. I'm not around Quad. I do not know whether or not she's a drunk. And as far as I know, I think we've only seen her. I only recall seeing her drunk at the couples trip where she was going after Sweet Tea and Dr. G. Now, I don't know whether there are other moments I may have forgotten, but let me know in the comment section below if you guys remember any other moment where Quad was drunk on TV. Now, the bit that gagged me is the fact that if someone is accusing me of 2 DUIs, I would say pull up the receipts. I ain't never been arrested for a DUI, okay? But the fact that she sat there and did not say anything, but instead tried to twist it and say you're trying to disparage my character and basically trying to say you're not a drunk. Okay, you're not a drunk, but do you have 2 DUIs? That's the question. That's what I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know, Quad, Miss Quad, Miss Quad. Do you have a DUI or not? Because think about it with Karen. A lot of people did not know that Karen had multiple DUIs. A lot of people only knew about the one, I think, that people knew about, right? It was then that all of that started coming out. I would have appreciated if she cleaned it up a little bit. But the fact that she didn't clean it up is looking like she does have a DUI. So if she doesn't, I hope she listens to this and decides to clear it up. Now, let's talk about Dr. G and Damon, because that's really what I want to talk about. I personally believe Dr. G in this situation, and I'll tell you guys why. Because every time Dr. Damon said something, the lie detector proved that it was a lie. And I say that because the clips were showing us that the said conversation happened. So let's rewind a little bit. You guys remember when Heavenly was tweeting and calling Dr. G all sorts of names? Dr. G had a conversation with Damon about it, but Damon shut it down. He was saying that he was being so sensitive. But remember, I told you guys when that aired and I said that Dr. Damon knows exactly what he is doing. Dr. Damon, in my opinion, is evil. I feel like he felt a certain way because Dr. G pushed back on the clients he referred to him. And instead of dealing with it the way an adult will deal with it, he dealt with it the way non-confrontational people tend to deal with things. And then they do pay back by then thinking about what you did and then coming for them. Can you believe that Dr. Damon had the audacity to say that Dr. G didn't say anything about the rumors about him being a cheat and how he felt about it, but then was okay not saying anything about Dr. Heavenly calling him a PDF file? It's like, what are we doing, sir? It's like apples and oranges. Think about the gravity of being called a cheater. You can literally say, I've never cheated on my wife. That's that. Why are you asking for another man's validation on your character? That shows an inadequacy in you, Mr. Damon, right? If we flip it on the other side, saying someone is not respected in the medical community is something that can come for their business. That is a very, very serious allegation. And then to go to the extent of calling someone a PDF file, that is nowhere to be compared with being called a cheat. Let's be clear. And she didn't even call you a cheat. She said that your wife had discussed that she believed certain cheating rumors about you. So like, what are we doing? And the fact that this man sat there and tried to gaslight the audience, and it looks like people like Quad and Toya were eating it up. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? You guys can't be that slow. Or maybe you guys are. I will say that I am glad that Cecil piped up, because I feel like I didn't like the way it was almost like there was a target on Dr. G and Sweet Tea's backs for everyone to come for them, because how dare Dr. Damon be throwing and have so much energy for Dr. G when his wife called him a PDF file? That if that is not some crazy nasty work, I don't know what is. And the fact that he literally said he didn't speak to me about it, but then I recall that he did speak to the guy about it. He told him he was quite busy, couldn't take on the referrals. Either way, that man is allowed to say no. If he is overwhelmed in his work, he's allowed to say no. And it was very clear that he was trying to antagonize Dr. G, because why would you be calling a grown man a coward multiple times because you are trying to get a reaction? You could have literally said, this is how I felt. I felt that this is, you could have said that. You didn't. Now, the bit that annoyed me about Dr. G is, why are you going to apologize? Apologize for what exactly? What did you do that you need to apologize for? I suspect he just wanted peace to reign, but I'm not being funny. His wife called you a PDF file. He had nothing to say about it. His wife said you're not respected in the medical community. He had nothing to say about it. Yet, behind the scenes, he's referring you patients. Make it make sense. And the funny thing is, Dr. Damon has really mastered the persona of the good guy, because he's there talking about integrity matters so much to him. If integrity mattered to you, you would have relayed what's happened and been honest about it. Instead, you kept trying to shut down this man from speaking, calling him a coward. You're trying to be antagonistic because you know that Dr. G is volatile, and you were expecting a volatile reaction. So when Dr. G did not give you the reaction that you were looking for, all of a sudden you want to squash issues. People like that, you guys need to be careful. And if anyone did not notice that, please go back and rewatch. The way they were coming is evil. The way they were coming at Dr. G is evil. I wish that Dr. G will work on his temper and his emotions, because I feel like if he was working on his emotions and temper and all of that, people would be more inclined to actually listen to his side and see Damon for what he really is. All that came out of Damon's mouth was lies. I need y'all, before you guys leave some crazy ass comments in the comment section below coming from me about my opinion, please go back and watch the clip again. Listen to what he says and see the clips that Bravo play. Now, if you guys are that invested, you can even go back and find the clip where Dr. G was talking about how busy he was and couldn't take on more clients. So one thing I personally don't like is lies. So even if we may think Dr. Damon is better than Dr. G or whatever, you may have those views, but lies are not acceptable. Lying on somebody, trying to coerce somebody into having to make an apology just for peace to reign, knowing fully well you're lying and gaslighting and trying to gaslight all of us like we don't have access to the clips, is mind-boggling to me. And the fact that he wasn't even as quick to call out what Heavenly did until Andy tried to jump in, and then he's trying to clean it up a little bit. It's disgusting, diabolical behavior, and I stand on it. I said what I said. Now, I want to know what you guys think of the whole Dr. Damon and Dr. G. Do you guys see what I see when I look at Dr. Damon, when I assess and analyze the behavior? I want to know. Let me know in the comment section below. By the way, you guys are allowed to disagree with me. Just keep it respectful, and we can have a healthy dialogue in the comment section, okay? Now, let's talk about Quad and Dr. Simone. So, I don't even know how this took a left turn, because it felt like we were watching the men, then the ladies started getting into it. What started it all was there was a question about the whole Quad or whatever. Curtis jumps in and talks about how when Greg and Letitia came on, Greg was always bigging up his wife and stuff. And so maybe Quad is just happy with King, and now she's talking about King. Now, what is interesting is Dr. Simone said something, and I do agree with her on that point. Now, I don't agree that the whole thing should have escalated to that point. Let's be clear. But I do agree with what she said, that it wasn't done in her face. It was more when Dr. G was talking to his friends, the guys, right? That's when he's saying all these things. Now, does that mean that Quad may have watched it later and been upset? Yes, of course, she may have been upset, right? But Quad was like, she didn't have a problem with it. And then Quad goes into this war is me and says, oh, the fact that they ushered them into the group, it was a problem, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing. I understand where Quad is coming from, because you're allowed to not want to have to work with your ex-husband, okay? But as far as I know, married to medicine. So that's the reason she is on the show, right? So whatever the case may be, it escalates, because now Dr. Simone is like, well, she wasn't around, so she can't tell them who the F to usher in, and Quad gave them her ass to kiss and all that. I was like, okay, this is escalating too far. It did not need to go that far. Now, Quad did also say, shut the F up. Dr. Simone pipes up and says, shut the F up. And then now they both start screaming at each other, standing in each other's faces. Now, here's the thing. Dr. Simone, we've addressed this so many times. Why are you so pressed? There is a deep hurt there, and I think she needs to let it go. This girl, Quad, does not want to be friends with you. She is not your friend. She's only there when cameras are there, and that is okay. That is what that is, period. Okay? I think people need to understand that, like, you can be there for somebody, you can show up for somebody. If you notice that they're not doing the same for you, then you know where you guys stand and you move accordingly, right? I don't think we need to keep revisiting it every reunion. I'm tired of it. I hope other people are tired of it. I'm tired of all of them at this point. I don't even want to watch Married to Medicine anymore. It used to be a nice, lighthearted show, but it's taking a turn for the worse. Everything is on some madness on the show as far as I'm concerned. Now, that is all I want to talk to you guys about today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the chat. Thank you. Bye.